Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, I will be giving out some tips as well as my thought process for planning Cross+1 and inspection. In my opinion, Cross+1 is less of something that can be taught and more of something that you just have to figure out for yourself. But anyway, in this video, I'll just be going over some pointers on how you can best learn how to plan Cross+1 and inspection, because it is something that is difficult for a lot of people. My first tip is just to force yourself to over-inspect as much as you need to until you plan the cross plus first pair. You can start with something like easy cross scrambles, which is a feature on CS Timer that is helpful for learning how to plan Cross+1. But at home, inspection rules don't apply, and you need to take advantage of that by forcing yourself to over-inspect and find the cross plus first pair every single time, because that's really the only way you can get better at it is by doing it. And you will definitely get faster at it over time, even if at first it takes 3 minutes of inspecting. My second tip is to know what move sets preserve certain parts of the top layer. So for example, here we have a cross that can be solved with only R and D moves, which means that this entire back left 2x2x3 block will get preserved. This pair will get preserved and it'll stay exactly how it is. Another thing you could look out for is crosses with just R, D, and F moves, which will preserve this back left 2x2 block, and as you can see, this pair would get preserved. You could also look for setups into these types of cases. For example, if you notice this cross, you can insert this green piece with L2 and then solve the rest of these with R, D, and F moves, and the L2 would move this white, orange, and green pair into the back left where it would get preserved. So you could do something like this. Another thing you could do, this is the same cross solution as before, except there wouldn't be a white corner in the back left. You can instead just do a U prime here to move this corner into the back left, and then finish off the cross with R, D, and F moves, and then solve this pair. My third tip is, and this is where more of the figuring it out comes in, is to learn how your most used cross triggers affect F2L pieces. I'll show you an example with this cross insert, R prime F R. If you notice, it will preserve this back left corner, but here that's not white, so we don't need to worry about that. It'll move this back right corner like a U. See, it did the same thing that it would do if we did a U move. And this front left corner would go to the back right, and the front sticker would be on top. And this corner would obviously just get moved like an F. So the pair that I would choose here would probably be this blue and orange out of these three options. And I would solve it like this. That I've given you my 3 tips, I will go over my thought process for planning Cross+1. So the main thing that I look for is a white corner, or whatever my cross color is, that will end up in the top layer, because if the corner ends in the bottom layer, then it's usually a bad case, and it's also harder to look ahead to. Here, I can notice that this corner is separated from all the cross pieces, so I know it'll likely be a good option. That'll be pretty easy to predict. And I can do a cross solution, which would be D prime, L, F prime, D prime, F prime, R prime, and as you notice, that entire cross solution was LDF, which will preserve this until the very end. The R prime brought it down. And then this edge, I can see, will just get affected by an F2. It's much easier to plan out for edges than corners. And for the orientation, I know that the blue sticker will be on top for both pieces. But I remember when I was starting out, I would often just plan where the pieces would be rather than the orientation, which still does a good job of reducing most of the pause, But if you want to reduce the pause entirely, then you'll want to predict the orientation. But again, it is harder to do that and will probably take more time. Anyway, let's execute the Cross+1 here. That's all I have to say for now. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please give it a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks.